Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. For today's video, we're going to be diving into the total altcoin market cap, as well as giving you guys an update inside of the Bitcoin dominance chart. There are some very important things that are playing out right now that is ultimately going to dictate the direction that the market is going to take. We are at a do or die point for crypto. We're either going to start breaking out and making new highs, or we're going to end up coming all the way back down to the range lows, and it's all being decided right now at this given time. If you're new and just find this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Always remember to click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing videos like the one provided for you here. And make sure you guys go ahead and download my free ebook and beginner's guide to crypto. This is going to teach you guys all of the basics for understanding how to trade and invest into crypto. So I've made it free to download. Links are in the description. And with that being said, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, so what I want to talk to you guys about today was really going through the altcoins, kind of covering what I think is playing out right now, and then kind of giving you guys a summarization, because we've actually seen the altcoins holding up very well. And by altcoins, I specifically mean Ethereum. Now, Ethereum actually led the way on the rise. Ethereum had a very nice rise to the upside off of the range lows when all of the market came crashing down and everything kind of bottomed and stagnated. Bitcoin and Ethereum, when we're comparing the two, Ethereum had a much bigger rise in price, and it followed much closer to the SPX. Bitcoin really lagged throughout that period of time. And what we're noticing here is after such a big move to the upside, we pretty much came back up within our previous range support. This was our 2021 support throughout June and July. And then this was kind of our support before we actually capitulated all the way back down to 17,500. For Ethereum, that was about $900. Now, with us coming all the way back up and having this sell-off, right now we're sitting right on top of the 50-day moving average. And this is a very important trend tool for the crypto markets. And so this is kind of why I said that this is a do or die scenario for crypto. Where we're sitting at right now, we pretty much just came back up and retested that previous support right here. This was our previous support. And this is where we were holding before we broke below that and capitulated. But this entire move to the upside was pretty much just us having a bearish retest of that move. You wouldn't consider this a breakout because we didn't really do anything besides just tag this level and immediately reject. But anytime you're at the very beginning stages of a breakout, you're going to have that first major sell-off. And I was telling you guys throughout this period of time, we've never really had that first pullback. And then after that video was where we saw this move kind of come in here. And now that we're sitting off of this 50-day moving average, this is kind of where we're going to be able to decide whether Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to be going up or whether the rest of the crypto market is actually going to be going back down to retest the range lows. Now, like I've stated, a lot of this has to do with the SPX, but when we're looking at this chart just from the bare bones, this is kind of why I'm saying that us on this level is going to be bullish. I think that as long as we can stick above the 50-day moving average, that's going to set us up for another move higher, where honestly, it really depends, like I've stated, on the SPX. But if we end up getting a nice move in the SPX, we could easily see Ethereum closing at about $2,500 to $3,000 in this next move. It'd be a very big move, and I would expect a pretty sharp decline to follow after that. But nonetheless, it's all going to be hinged upon this 50-day moving average. If this becomes resistance, then I would expect us to fall all the way back down and retest the range lows at about $1,000. That's just most likely the scenario that we would take. And then that would most likely just lead us to a lengthier consolidation as we get closer towards the end of the year. You know, it's definitely possible if we come back down to retest the range lows, this could actually sell and we could even go lower. If that was the case, you know, ultimately Ethereum would be falling all the way to probably $500 to $300. I'm not necessarily thinking that that's going to be the likelihood scenario. Like I've stated, guys, in yesterday's video, what we talked about with the SPX was if the SPX actually makes a lower low, the SPX goes all the way down to like 3,200, makes a massive correction, then yes, we would expect to see crypto go for one more low as well. But that's only the most bearish scenario, assuming that the SPX goes into another massive low. That would most likely lead to some type of black swan event. I don't know, maybe China invades Taiwan, that drags the markets even lower. That's definitely a possibility we could see. But nonetheless, guys, the big thing I want you guys to remember here is whether we retest the range lows or what we want to see is us actually hold support above the 50-day moving average. There's a couple different levels that we need to be watching before we can ultimately get to the doomsday scenario. But what I'm watching for first and foremost is the 50-day moving average. This is going to be either our resistance or our support. If it becomes resistance, a move to the range lows is likely. If we hold support above here, then we would get a move above. My guess is 2,500 to 3,000. That would be the move that we would expect to see to the upside. What we're looking for on the total altcoin market cap is roughly the same thing. It looks pretty much the same as the ETH chart. The only difference is we're kind of already flipping this previous level. If we're counting these wicks in here, that's one of the reasons why I like to look at the total altcoin market cap charts and really just the market caps as a whole, is because they oftentimes show a lot more, what I should say, symmetrical ranges. When we're watching support ranges, when we're watching resistance ranges, when we're watching diagonal resistance and support, oftentimes the market cap charts show clearer levels that are easier to identify. And that's kind of what we're seeing right here. We're hugging that 50-day moving average a lot tighter. But when we're looking at this as a much greater zone, we're pretty much just already retesting this given zone, which tells me that if the 50-day moving average on the total altcoin market cap becomes resistance, that's also showing that this green box is not a green box of support. It's looking more like resistance as well. Because we could come up here, we could tag the top of this box, and we could still come back down and close below this and see somewhat of a fake out in here and come all the way back down to the range lows. This is definitely a possibility at this point that we have to consider. But I think that the most obvious one to consider first is the likelihood scenario that we could see a bounce here. But all of this is going to be in due part on the SPX. What we're seeing on the SPX on the shorter time frames is really us just once again falling back within this green box. Yesterday was the first time that we entered it. Now we're just right within it. Nothing is really confirmed at this point. We still have plenty of consolidation to go. We can go quite a bit lower in here before this is expected to see any sort of major bounce. But this is kind of where we're going to see the resolution coming inside the crypto markets. If we're going to see a bounce in crypto, we got to see the bounce also coming inside of the SPX here. It's all going to be hinged upon the SPX. If the SPX stutters, we can't really make a big move up, and this green box becomes resistance, similar like I just drew with crypto, then we would expect a deeper move to the downside. And everything that's going to move forward for us with crypto is going to be dictated around this chart, in my opinion. Whether crypto goes for a new low, whether the end of the year is a slow bleed, or whether, we've already actually stitched in a lot of our low and we should start to see a move to the upside. It's all going to be hinged on the SPX and what direction it decides to take. But what I can say, let's go into the Bitcoin dominance real quickly. And let's talk about what we're seeing here in this chart. Let's remove our drawing tools. Now, what we've talked about here was really how well Ethereum has held up. Ethereum had a nice move off of these range lows, a much bigger move than Bitcoin. It followed a lot closer with the SPX in that move. And when we're looking at the total market cap, we can see that Ethereum even performed better than the total market cap because it was getting suppressed by Bitcoin. Now, when we're getting into the Bitcoin dominance, we're at a very interesting point. And what it tells me is that this chart really doesn't look that bullish to me. What it looks like is a lot more of just a bearish type of consolidation. Now, it's going to be interesting to see where this actually ends up taking direction. But we were in this range for a long period of time. We've been in here since May of 2021. So a long period of time we've been consolidating in here. And we're about to retest those range lows once again. Now, this move here was a pretty obvious rejection. We kind of consolidated here. We made this move to retest and actually attempt to break out of this range. And we got stuffed and immediately started selling off. And we haven't seen any buy support stepping in here at all since the rejection. So what that tells me is that that's a lot of weakness. Now, if we're looking at this chart inverted, which the inverted chart of this is literally the total altcoin dominance, it's just inverted, right? When we're looking at this chart, this looks like a chart that's bullish. This looks like a chart that wants to break out. We had nice volume that was breaking out here, as we broke out and made a move upwards of the all-time highs. We've been consolidating here. We've made multiple attempts, with this most recent attempt getting stuffed very hard. Big bullish engulfing candle that came in here. Technically it's bearish engulfing because this is an inverted chart. But nonetheless, this move right here on a bigger time frame turns into a big bull pin hammer. See this? This is like our COVID capitulation, where we see this big decline, instantly gets bought up, and we make this V bottom. See the volume that came in here? This is a chart that to me looks like it wants to keep going higher. And so when we're watching these, it's really important to keep this stuff in mind, because when we're watching this chart, to me it looks like the Bitcoin dominance chart wants to break lower. This looks like it's ready pretty much at any point. We could bounce a little bit in here, but it looks like a chart that wants to go lower. And what would happen if this goes lower is we would actually see a lot of dominance coming into the altcoins, even if it was only Ethereum for the very beginning. Let's look at the ETH dominance here, because this is a chart that looks pretty solid. When we're looking at the Ethereum dominance, we've been in this slight uptrend for a long period of time now. Basically since September of 2019, we've been outperforming Bitcoin. With this move to the downside, the dip was immediately bought up and we flipped back above this 50-day moving average. As long as we can hold support above here, in my opinion, as long as we can keep getting moves higher, it's really going to show that there's a lot of dominance still stepping into the altcoins. And that's why we could ultimately look towards, like I stated, 2023 being the beginning of that next bull run, and the end of the year just being kind of a decision-making point, is because what we're seeing here is the altcoins never really made a new all-time high against their Bitcoin pairs. We're seeing a lot of dominance still in those pairs. Bitcoin dominance looks relatively weak. The SPX looks like we could be actually at a point where we're going to be, after the midterms, starting into a new all-time high type move. If this is the range lows, we got some decision making to play in here. But if we've already made our low in here, whether we retest that or not, if this is the low of the cycle and we just end up trending sideways for the rest of the year, I honestly think 2023 is stepping up to be a pretty profitable time. So I wanted to give you guys this update as a way to summarize some of my thoughts that I'm seeing inside the market. If you guys found value in this, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing updates. If you guys want to join the Discord server, download my free ebook. Links are in the description for that. For the people who also like to sign up for my VIP course, Signals, follow all the trades that I take, links are going to be in the description for you to find that as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And with that being said, I will catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.